And joining Ambassador Ayalon and myself here in the studio, Dr. Eytan, Cohen, Yanarocak, Turkey expert at the Moshe Dayan Center, Tel Aviv University. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, once again, I will dare to say operational success in terms of intercepting the flotilla, but the diplomatic failure.
Well, I would like to, first of all, express my huge disappointment from Minister Ben Gvir as an Israeli. I think this is a struggle for legitimacy, for the public approval in the world. It's a war on perception. And what he did, unfortunately, was really disgraceful. He's strengthening the hands of the enemies of Israel, the critiques of Israel. We have seen the Spanish government officials. We also see the Turkish government officials. And this is very unfortunate because Ben Gvir is doing the exact opposite of what is he expecting to do.
Right.
He is creating a delegitimization for the state of Israel. He is demonizing us in the eyes of the world. And unfortunately, this is not going to somewhere good. I think Prime Minister Netanyahu should take a very responsible action and he should dismiss him. However, since we know the calculations of the Israeli politics and Prime Minister, as far as I understand, he has no maneuverability. In the aftermath of the elections, unfortunately, he may need Ben Gvir once again to form the government. And therefore, I think it should be also a responsible action for the opposition Israeli leaders to declare from now to Mr. Netanyahu that they would be ready for a national unity government in the future so that Netanyahu can set himself free from Ben Gvir.
At the end of the day, it is all political limitations or lack thereof, political freedom in this respect. And Ambassador Ayalon, we often talk about these incidents as a PR nightmare, but here it's not merely the optics; it's the policy which is problematic, or the behavior which is problematic.
It's the policy, and even beyond. Just to add, even I would say one of our greatest friends ever in the American administration, no other than Mike Huckabee, which is the American ambassador here in Israel. He was distraught. I've never seen him so angry with such a firm condemnation. So you have to ask, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of it? Is it deterrence? They're not going to be deterred, quite the opposite, because they see that actually it's damaging Israel. They would come again with the hope that the whole thing will happen again. So if it's not deterrence, and if it's not any kind of punishment, it's just damaging. And
we will note that the Prime Minister was very quick, and also the Foreign Minister, and rightfully so, very quick to condemn.
If you look at Ben Gvir, he is politics through and through. Since the upcoming elections, he did it only for his own base, which I hope is shrinking.
All right. Let's shift our focus elsewhere. A country both of you have vast knowledge in. COGAT demands the UN to halt support for Turkish IHH group over its ties with Hamas. So talk to us about this group, Dr.
Sure. This group is the core architect of the Mavi Marmara flotilla, which is an infamous, incident.
The flotilla.
That unfortunately created unrepairable damage for the Israeli-Turkish relations. And since they did this huge damage, so they received lots of legitimacy in the eyes of the Turkish Islamists. This is a very well-known organization that calls itself a humanitarian organization, that it is acting beyond Turkey's borders, especially in Syria, in Iraq, in Sudan.
With the support of the UN.
Yes, definitely. And their, of course, flagship campaign is Gaza, sometimes Jerusalem. Of course, they are not acting here, but their offshoots are present in Israel. So, in my opinion, unlike Ben Gvir, COGAT's action is very professional, and it is carried out within the boundaries of a legitimate act. So Israel should not behave from its stomach, but from its brain. And this is the way how we should basically deal with this kind of a threat.
Less publicity, but perhaps more impact by depriving UN funds for such organization.
Well, I think that's a very wise decision because if you read the letter of the COGAT is referring to another report, an OSINT report. And they are telling the UN that collaborating with such a terrorist organization is an unlawful act in the framework of the Israeli law. And it's also deterring. That's what you said. This is deterrence vis-a-vis the UN. If you would like to act in the Gaza Strip, in the West Bank, inside Israel, well, you should also abide the Israeli law.
Well, and saying with Turkish affairs, the Istanbul consulate, Israel is now weighing to shut it down. How low can you go when it comes to the Israeli-Turkey relationship? I guess there's always lower.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. I don't think you can go much lower, though, until you close altogether the embassies, both here in Israel and in Ankara, and maybe even sever a relationship. It's going that way.
Yeah.
We see that single-handedly, Erdogan, since he took power, he just changed totally the relationship, which were very, very good. Actually, there are many
but there were times, even with Erdogan at the top, that relations were rosy. I'm old enough to remember September 2023, a handshake between Erdogan and Netanyahu in the UN, at the UN General Assembly.
Yes, well, Erdogan, we know he could be really like a chameleon. You know, if he needs, if he's interested. At that time in 23, Eli, if you remember, I think we even discussed it here, he really very much coveted Israel's natural gas in the Mediterranean to go to Europe through Turkey and not through Greece. So that was kind of a charm offensive, but we know where that all ended, how it all ended.
I agree with you. It was a charm offensive, but it was also a calculation that he wanted to make a distance between Greece, Cyprus, and Israel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to put a spoke in the wheel as well. A very wise guest we had in the earlier phase of this broadcast said that countries not motivated by emotions, only by interest.
I agree with that.
I will connect the two of you. All right, Ambassador Dani Ayalon and Dr. Yanarocak, we want to turn our focus now into this because Israel